Over 2 months ago, I started working on Yes Comrade, a game about spending time working on an island with friends in the name of the great state of Belaskovska. This is what happened next. So this is different. I'm physically here on the screen, which is different to last time, and I'm trying something new with how I present these videos. Hopefully it works out. I had to pay money for the green screen and the mic and stuff, so yeah, expensive purchase. I want to thank Jake, who runs the channel Looking for Work, who kind of gave me the inspiration for doing this kind of on-person camera thing. He's awesome. Go check out his channel. It's in the description. It's about his startup and what they're doing. It's very, very cool. Anyway, you've probably been wondering what I've been up to. Well, here it is. Meaningless words on screen. But don't worry, I'm going to turn these words into content. Before we get into it, you know, the rat. Oh, why did I do this? I'm gonna talk about and quickly go through some of the key bits which I've also been working on. So in the last video, it should have been pretty obvious that the game is extremely rough around the edges, still is. But I spent a lot of time refining and fixing things like the physics. Beforehand, it was incredibly broken, and now it's just very, very broken instead. I want to quickly go through some of the stuff that actually took up the majority of the time, which was kind of fixing and iterating through much of the original content and systems that I created. Stuff the player was grabbing would collide with them, send them up into the sky. Trying to move and hold an item would jitter a lot. So a lot of stuff was trying to make that better. So I'm not saying it's perfect now by any means, but it's a hell of a lot better. Holding items is much smoother. You can now even rotate items in your hands, and it makes it so much easier to place. All in all, I'm much happier now. So let's get on with an actual feature, the game's first entity. This little fucker right here, the rat, just so happens to be the beginning of what is a significant part of the game. There will be loads of entities in the game, but this one is kind of the first one, and it's kind of fun. In Yes Comrade, there's going to be multiple entities that can cause you problems, and for me, when I program them, lots of them are dangerous. The rats, no, they will just drive you to madness. Why, you ask? They steal one of the most important items belonging to you, your hard-earned food. They, like you, need to eat. And when they get hungry, they will go hunt for food, your food. So if you leave your food in an accessible location where the rats can get it, they will take your hard-earned rations back to their nest and multiply. Now the good thing is, your new rat overlords don't have to stay in power very long. You can kill them with your new crowbar. A bit anticlimactic, I'll sort that out later. Hey, you can even eat the dead rats. Infinite food glitch. It might be hard to find all these rats that are stealing your food, so the best way to overthrow these thieving bastards is actually to buy some poison from the store, which, when the rat takes some poisoned food back to their nest, it will eradicate them very, very quickly. Well done, Agent 47. Just remember what food you poisoned, and probably don't eat the poisoned rats either. That's not very good. So let's move on to another big addition, which is the start of the story. One of the key elements I alluded to in the first video was the idea of turning up on this abandoned island, it not being in a very good state, and you're not entirely sure why. This is kind of the end of the story when you arrive, because the next part is you creating your own story. Before you and your crew arrived on the island, there was a previous crew working it. How it kind of ended up in a poor state is something I want players to find out through kind of environmental storytelling, and I've just so happened to have begun that in the latest alpha. So what I've done is I've added these pages. The good news is that pages can also be written on by you, and that's good because that kind of helps with like daily frequencies and trying to maybe make a checklist of things that you and your crew need to do that day. But the other important thing for it is this environmental storytelling. And what I've done is that I've left kind of diary pages around the island, and the aim of this is that when the players find it, it tells a story from one of the two previous crewmates on the island, Dimitri and Seb. Through the notes, it tells you some of the kind of things they went through, but also the things that you, the player, are also going to go through. Be it ordering from a computer, waiting for the plane to drop off the goods, how the console works, or why is there a telescope in the bird's nest. These notes don't just kind of tell a story, they're kind of like a tutorial on how certain mechanics work, told through the eyes of Seb and Dimitri. I just think that's neat. So what else? Well, to start with, I've added 2 new types of ships. Fishing and military. They're different types, and so therefore if it's a fishing ship you need to connect to a certain frequency that day. If it's a military, you need to connect to another frequency. So there'll be some special rules that you have to follow depending on what the ship type is. So I didn't really go into graphics in the last video, but I want to talk about it a bit now just to kind of make it clear about what they're going to look like and what the kind of aim is. So I've actually gone with this pixelated graphics look, something very Half-Life-y or abiotic factor. I just really kind of like that art style. They're not like overly pixelated. I would say it's going to be more of a high quality pixel type texture, but all the same, that's kind of what I'm going for. I'm not personally an amazing artist. I'm still very much learning new things as I'm putting things in the game, but I feel like when I'm doing it, I'm getting better and better each day. So hopefully you'll start to see an improvement going through the videos when new things come in of how much better they look. But a lot of things you see kind of in these videos and these devlogs are placeholder or old stuff that I've done. Hopefully you'll start to see some new stuff as I'm making it, and I'm still very much going to iterate through different things as I work on them. I did, however, work on some water stuff this month. So I kind of built the shader, looked online how I could do it. So this is kind of the first iteration of it, but it's cool, it looks nice. I've also made some underwater effects, which is good, because I've also then added the ability to drown, so just another way the player can die to check off the list. So this update was very much fixing and refining stuff, and that's okay, because the next update is kind of going to be similar as well. So there's some key changes I want to make, mostly the tower and the island. Both were kind of put together quite quickly as like a test originally, and they were no way meant to be kind of the final layout or design. So eventually we're going to be able to get rid of the kind of blocky island that you might have seen in the last video. I'll make a new island, a new tower layout. I've got some really good ideas on how I want to change it, and I think it will look much better. There's some changes I want to make to the main ship gameplay loop, but effectively it's not just going to be dial it in, click a button, good or bad. It's going to have a lot more kind of questions you need to ask the ship in communication. You need to find out what kind of cargo they have, find out if any of that's banned cargo. There's going to be loads of things that you need to pay attention to with these ships. It's not just going to be a straightforward, are they the good guys to our country, are they the bad guys? So that's going to be added as well. So hopefully in the next video you'll see a brand new island with some really cool stuff on it, instead of just this kind of empty thing you've got now. Overall, the next update is meant to be a significant improvement to what we currently have in the game, and I can't wait to show it off in next month's video. I just want to thank everyone who's been supporting me over the last month. It's been awesome to see your feedback and people join the Discord and the Patreon. It means a lot to me for your support. It allows me to make cool content and videos, and I know next month is going to have a whole host of new things coming out just for the Patreon subscribers. If you too want to support me on Patreon and get access to the pre-alpha Steam builds, the bi-weekly behind the scenes, or the previews of new mechanics, then you can find the link to the Patreon in the description below. If you haven't yet wishlisted the game, then you can also do that on Steam. Again, the link's in the description below. Liking, commenting and subscribing also helps this channel grow, so if you haven't done that yet, I'd appreciate it if you do it now. I can't wait to show you everything that's in the pipeline for this game. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.